America.
Welcome to the Costa Mesa Pettis Perspective. This is episode 18, and thanks for watching. It's been a minute. I think we've been out a month for Labor Day break and summer. Hope everybody's having a nice summer, had a nice summer. So council meeting was last night, and there was a lot discussed, and there was some things that I picked out that we're gonna talk about tonight. And the first thing I want to mention, and it's I think it's a big deal. It's a simple thing, but the new police chief, Ron Lawrence, was sworn in. His wife was there. He did some speaking, and the council took pictures. And I think it's a good. He seems like a good, solid leader for the city. And it was nice to hear him. It seems like a nice, energetic young guy. So I have high hopes for him and the leadership of the police department. And my favorite part was he kept his speech short, but one of the quotes was he was thanking Stevens, thanking the city manager, and then he thanked the city council, and he said, "I did my research." I think the quote was, "I've done my research on each one of you." And I thought that was pretty cool. I like his style. So congratulations to Ron Lawrence on becoming our new police chief, and we wish him well. And the second part of the beginning of the council meeting was the city attorney report, Miss Barlow, and I actually got a kick out of it for once. She mainly has a very brief, she had a very brief report, but she was talking about legal dispensaries and how illegal dispensaries are going to be addressed by them. And her quote was, "We're coming for you," as it relates to the illegal dispensaries. I thought that was funny because back in the day, my idea of coming for you was, being at Irvine Terrace Park and hucking the apple core that we were smoking weed out of and running from the police. That was my idea of coming for you. But it's just funny now that here we are with the legal cannabis situation. So what I wanted to talk about, the one issue that, interestingly enough, didn't come from any of the staff reports, it didn't come from any of the public hearings or any of the presentations I wanted to talk about, came from our friend Mr. Humphreys, who's a former council member, and he attends, I'm pretty sure, every single council meeting in person. I've never been to one or watched one, or he wasn't there and didn't speak. A lot of respect for that guy, cares a lot about the city. And his main point when getting up last night was about Measure Y. And again, I promise this wouldn't be a topic that I would be talking about too much more because it's kind of run its course. But he brought up a point that I continually get asked about now. And he was concerned about Measure Y and the city's responsibility for providing in written form. I don't know how they do it in this city, but they have to write and publish an explanation of what the progress on Measure Y is, the ballot language. I believe it'll give the public a chance to have some input into it. So he was concerned they hadn't seen anything yet on that. And I actually share his concern because that brings up something that there were people that thought, when I was talking about One Metro and the petition that I was putting out, which it really, again, I'll say it wasn't for or against One Metro, it was for public transparency. And people said, no, it's Measure Y, I'll take care of that. And what Mr. Humphreys is bringing up is something that I very much am worried about myself. And what I'm going to do when I explain my concern, because I still get questions about it, like, how does this work? How do we know how do we know how the Measure Y is going to look on the ballot? I'm going to use Proposition 47 as an example to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. As you guys, many of you know, those of you who don't know, Prop 47 was, I think it was 7 years ago now, plus or minus a few months, that it came into, was voted in. And it's you see these things in the news reports where it's no longer a crime, or they no longer get taken to jail for stealing for anything under $900. Basically, what Proposition 9 did was recategorized crime. So normally theft of some sort is a misdemeanor. I'm just using these as examples. Don't quote me on this. Or this category is a felony. What this did, Prop 47, the goal was to have less people in jail, less criminals. Therefore, we're gonna recategorize crime, and hopefully, it's really had the adverse effect. The reason I'm bringing up Prop 47, whether you think it's good or bad, is not my point. That it was on the ballot 7 years ago, and the ballot title was the Safe Schools and Communities Act. So, and that was Prop 47, the title of the prop that was voted in. The ballot title had nothing to do with the intent of the legislation, zero, and it passed. And it's mismarketing legislation to get people to vote for it. So if you're in the business private sector, you could be prosecuted for false advertising if you were to do that, representing a product, a pharmaceutical company, representing a medication, anything you can think of. But in the case of city, state, and even federal legislation, especially these local initiatives, this is why the ballot language is crucial to understand for Measure Y. And that is why it is important for the public to have a voice. And that was the original intent of my petition that I started with some other folks that got 535 signatures. Still gets a few here and there today. The intent was to have the community be involved with discussing the matter with council, so we could be watching the ballot language. And again, this is not a for or against anything. It's just how many times have you been voting? Which I'll be voting here shortly on the recall measure for Newsom. And please, it's important. And I'm not going to. The people that know this stuff. And this is off topic a little bit, but I've heard people saying this drives me crazy. I want to put my head through the TV every time I hear it. I'm now on to the recall topic. I've transitioned. People say, well, it doesn't matter because you have Elder and Kiley and Cox and all these guys are going to split the vote anyway. No, that's wrong. That's you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not speaking to the people that know, but there are people that still say this. Only thing that matters is you vote yes, I want to recall Newsom, and then he's recalled. The second question is, I want Elder, I want Kiley, I want whoever. Whoever gets the most votes out of those gets the Republican governor. So there's no splitting the vote in this case in a recall election. So please understand that for those of you that do not. So that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. I wanted to make sure that I provided a real life example as to why ballot language is important and how it very much matters in the outcome of an election. So love or hate One Metro Y. Let's insist. Let's call council. Show up to the meetings. Email your councilman, councilwoman, and let them know that you want to be a part of the conversation when it comes to Measure Y. And it's important to be kind to yourself, be good to each other. Together we can get it done. Bye for now.